I gotta self-scout my media entrance. What's happening?
How you doing?
I'm great. Thank you. I only got time for 3 questions. I got to walk through to get to. No, I'm just kidding. All right. Good morning.
Hey, Doug, your decision to have a committee backfield throughout your time here, is that more based on a personal philosophy, or is it because of the players you've had?
I think it's a little of both. I believe that the National Football League season is a grueling, grinding season, particularly on running backs. And if you don't have a couple of guys that you can really kind of hang your hat on, it's hard to get through. It's hard to get through a season. And so for us here, it's worked. And we'll continue to do that. We also ask our guys to play special teams, so that's another aspect of the running back position. And it's a long season, and so we want to make sure that they're fresh. When it's time to be fresh, especially late in the year.
Doug, you have 52 on the roster. Are you going to wait to see how the week plays and call someone from the practice squad, or are you going to wait a week?
Yes.
Doug, how much
You answered the question.
if any, do you think you'll have to ease Carson in and, in this game without playing in the preseason? Do you think there's an adjustment at all for him going to be in this game, or do you not believe in that at all?
I don't necessarily believe in that. I don't think you ease anybody in. I think you have to go in, fully prepared, and that's why we practice, and that's why you've gone through a grueling training camp, especially at that position and for Carson. And so, I don't necessarily believe in easing anybody in. I think that's how you have a little passive mindset, especially as a play caller, and that's not who I am, and that's not who he is. So I don't foresee that.
Doug, we talked on Monday about the talent on this roster, but also needing it to gel. When you look at it offensively with Carson and all the guys around him, what have you seen now, kind of moving on from the preseason in a game week, that tells you that the timing is there with his receivers and the other players around him?
Well, it started Monday, a little workout we had Monday, and then obviously, we're back on the field this afternoon and the rest of this week. And one of the biggest differences is obviously now that we're into more of a game planning, mentality, game planning mode. We get real specific with routes and putting people in spots and the time spent in practice, and that's where you really begin to see and feel the timing and the execution. In the passing game. And so, obviously it's continuing it to be a work in progress as soon as we hit the field again today. And but what we've seen so far, has really has been positive, and it should carry over into Sundays.
Like you've seen a lot of openers. Is there anything in common with an opener? Is there anything that you know to expect on an opening game?
Well, the energy level is extremely high. Both teams, the crowd, whether you're home or away, it's exciting. It's 1 o'clock or wherever you're at in the country, playing for us 1. It's just a different feel. It's electric. I mentioned the other day, it's a little bit like a playoff type atmosphere. That first game, emotions are running high, adrenaline is running high for players and coaches, and it's the excitement. It's a new year. We're finally here. Football's back. That type of mentality. So it's a great feeling.
Deshaun's obviously a veteran, but he's waited a long time to be back here playing. Do you have to do anything to kind of rein him in and make sure he's not overhyped for this game?
No, I try not to. I try to let him just feel it. Feel the emotion of the game. He's been in a lot of these, so I don't think it's going to be any different. It's going to be a great welcome back, for him when he makes that first catch or, hopefully a touchdown. But, I think for him, a veteran player who's been a part of it, I think guys who have been here before and have felt opening day and have moved on and come back, I think they missed that just a little bit. And so for him, I know he's going to be excited.
As a play caller, Doug.
Players that concern you the most?
I know. Obviously, we know Josh Norman. He's gonna follow Alshon, which he has, the last couple of seasons, and so that's obviously something we want to continue to monitor and watch and check out during the game. Kerrigan is a guy that can, he picks his spots. He's talented. He can rush and he can get after the passer, and he's a good player. And they move him around a little bit, and I think with him and Sweat now on either side, I mean, this is a pretty good pass rush, on defense. So that's obviously something we got to watch out for. I think offensively, they get Darius Geis back and a tremendous running back. He's a big, powerful guy we liked coming out. And so I think, and we know the quarterback. We've faced him a little bit, and he can get the hot hand and get going. And depending on what happens with their tight ends, and who plays, these guys can be, as good as our guys, and sometimes even better. I mean, that's who they are. And so there's enough guys to keep your eye on. I mean, this is a good football team. And it's just going to take a good week of preparation to be ready.
As a play caller, Doug, you have all these new weapons in the offense. Presumably, you spent the offseason tinkering. Are you excited to sort of play with these toys in a regular season game for the first time?
Yeah, I am. I don't really categorize them as toys. They're well-oiled machines, but I think having some flexibility, particularly in the passing game, and that's the thing is we got to be careful. I mean, run, pass, the who's in the game, we got to be careful. From our personnel, this is why we self-scout a lot. Who's in the game on certain plays and certain down and distances and all that. But it will be exciting, to be able to, I think, look at the play sheet and listen. It has to be going your way, though. We have to be executing for any of it to work. If not, it can be a long day, and so just being able to look at your call sheet and being able to dial one up, does give you a little bit of comfort that way, but at the same time, if we're not executing, it really doesn't matter.
When you look at restrictions, no restrictions on Carson, but he's been cleared practicing every day. Some other players have not been ramped up to that point. Do you have to be cognizant of reps for them, playing time, maybe ramp them up a little bit?
Yeah, I think you have to be careful early in the season for guys that haven't maybe practiced as much, during camp or towards the end of camp. And we'll keep our eye on those guys, especially early in the game. The one thing that it kind of goes back to the, opening day is these guys haven't played for 60 minutes and they haven't played at a 1 o'clock game. And so, we have to be careful of everybody, out there and making sure that they stay hydrated and do all the things necessary to prepare themselves for that. I mean, that's taxing on these guys as well. So, but the guys that haven't been out there as much, yeah, we'll keep an eye on them.
When you look at rookies like Miles and JJ specifically, I mean, what's your comfort level in using those guys like right away? I mean, do you feel like they need to be eased in, or do you feel like you can just throw whatever?
Yeah, that's the reason why we had training camp and really mixed these guys in with the ones and got them comfortable with Carson and for this reason. This is why you draft these guys, and I don't think you hold back. You plug them in and you go. They have to learn, and there's no better teacher than on game day, and just let them experience, the emotion of the game, feel the game, and then go execute, how they're capable. I mean, they're talented enough to be drafted where they were drafted, so we're gonna use them.
Doug, this is going to be Wentz's first game in a while, coming off an off-season where he's gone under several changes. What kind of messaging do you have with him during the course of the week about how he approaches game one?
And my message to him and really to the team is let the offense work for you. Let the team work for you. You don't feel like you have to do things yourself. And that's the thing that. Going back to the all the toys that we have question that you just got to let those guys work, and same on defense. Let the scheme sometimes take over where you don't feel like you have to do everything yourself. Make the plays when they come to you. Don't go searching for them, right? Because that's when you get out of alignment. That's when you miss an assignment. You line up wrong. When they come, you make them, and that's all it is. With Carson, it's just even though he touches the ball every down, just make the plays when they come and use the guys around you. Don't feel like you have to do it yourself.
Has anything changed with the injury situation since we spoke on Monday? Is there anything different?
No, not really. I mean, we're easing these guys back in this week. Obviously, we haven't made any decisions on who's up, who's down as far as the 46 goes. But these guys are still working, and we'll make decisions on that issue later in the week. All right, thanks.
You seen the photo